Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in, coming back and watching. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well and staying safe and healthy out there. If you're new here, I'm Jim. I make tutorial videos about editing your photos, exploring creative options, and just frankly, trying to have fun. I hope you're doing well. So thank you for tuning in. In this video today, I am in the Luminar 4. And if you're not familiar with Luminar, there's 4 different tabs of tools. I usually start on the first tab, which is Essentials. And primarily, I start with the Light tool and or AI Enhance. I'll kind of bounce back and forth depending on the photo between those two to see what it is I want to do. In AI Enhance, it's one slider. I'll just move that to see what happens. It may give me an idea or sort of kickstart my creative exploration on that photo. In the Light tool, I'll often start with Smart Contrast, Shadows, Highlights, Temperature, and Tint. So I decided on this photo that I'm working on today to start on the Pro tab. There's the Professional tab is the last tab, and it's just got a lot of great tools on it. So I just kind of started there, and I ended up editing the entire photo just using the Pro tools. I never went back to any of the other tabs. I didn't do Creative. I definitely didn't do Portrait because it's not a Portrait tab or a Portrait photo. And of course, I didn't do anything on the Essentials tab. So I thought it'd be interesting to make a video and show you how I edited a photo using only the Pro tools. So here's the base photo. I did crop it prior to starting this video. And this was just along Route 66 in New Mexico, which is so fun to drive. So many great things to take photos. I like this old Americana kind of stuff. It's just really interesting to me. But I found this here in, I think it was Santa Rosa, New Mexico. Anyway, that was it before I started editing. And that was it after I started editing. And the truth is, I did exactly what I wanted to do. I got the exact look I wanted to do. I wanted to balance the light out. I wanted better contrast. I wanted certain areas to be brighter, certain areas to be darker, and I wanted to pop some colors, namely the yellow. I think the car and the restaurant sign, or estaurant, I guess, because that R is missing. I wanted to pop that yellow, and I did it all in the Pro tab. So one more time, there's the before, and there's the after. I'm going to reset these and show you how I started and how I got it to this finished product. Okay, here's my base photo, unedited other than the crop. And the first thing I did is I went into advanced contrast. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on. And let me show you that one more time. There's before, slightly darker in areas, and after, slightly lighter in areas. So I started with highlights contrast and did a little bit of a balance adjustment. I've got a video about advanced contrast, very powerful, but it does a good job of helping you isolate contrast in those specific zones, highlights, midtones, and shadows, which does help you rearrange the light, which, as I said, is something I wanted to do some of in this edit. Then a little bit of midtones contrast, also a slider adjustment there on the balance, and then shadows contrast as well. The truth is, there's no fixed way I approach advanced contrast. Every photo is different. It's not like a temperature or tint where you know what's going to happen, or golden hour where you're like, okay, the warmer tones are going to pop, or color saturation or vibrance. It's not like that at all in my experience. I really feel like every time I get in there, I just have to experiment. So I'd love to tell you to do this, do that, and then do that, but I don't find it to be that way. Very powerful, very useful, but I think very much requires experimentation depending on the image that you had or have. So here's one more time. There's the base photo, and there it is with advanced contrast. Not a major difference, but it did help me move the light around a little bit. And the next thing was to go into adjustable gradients. Let me turn that on. And you can see it had a fairly substantial bump in the photo. So one more time, there it is, off and on with adjustable gradient. Now you can set orientation. I left it basically right there in the middle. So on the top, let me click on top. On the top, I left the exposure the same. I like the light values in the sky. It was kind of a bluish, kind of cloudy sky day, kind of overcast, which I love. Those kind of skies work really well for me. So I left the exposure there. I did add a little bit of contrast and took down the highlights a bit, and then took down the warmth just to cool it off, and added a little bit of vibrance, which is also going to slightly affect some of the yellow in that sign, because that's basically about the top half of the photo. So let me show you one more time. There's before and there's after. Now that was the top. The next thing I did is I clicked on the bottom, and here I did bump up the exposure. You can see, let me show you one more time. Before, it's a little bit darker, and now it's a little bit brighter in the bottom half, and also bumped up contrast, took down shadows, and bumped up highlights. Again, it's just rearranging the light, and frankly, it's experimentation, just trying to get it to look the way I wanted it to look. A little bit of warmth and a little bit of vibrance. I do like my color. I wanted that yellow to pop. I really liked, as I said before, how the yellow in the car kind of went with the yellow in that restaurant sign. So that was basically it. So adjustable gradient took me from that base, I just had done advanced contrast to that, which, I was liking so far. But again, I wanted to move the light a little bit more, and that's where dodge and burn comes in. And that's where dodge and burn, and I've done videos about dodge and burn before, it's a great substitute for contrast, because dodge and burn, it's basically what you're doing is you're darkening some parts and lightening others, and that's what contrast is. Contrast is the difference between dark and light, so dodge and burn is a great way to do that. So even though I used advanced contrast, I also used dodge and burn, and that helped me target specific areas. So let me turn that on, and you can see a big difference there. I brightened up this area where this white sign where it says steaks and Mexican food. I darkened some of this pavement over here, lightened some of the building, and I did a little bit in the sky as well. There's before and after. You can see I kind of brightened some key areas and darkened a couple of others. Again, just trying to drive more contrast, which has a big impact on the photo. It also has a nice impact on color. So one more time, before and after. I think the colors are popping a little bit more, and that really left me with my last filter. I only used these first 4. I didn't use photo filter or split toning, but I did go and use color enhancer. Let me turn that on, and you can see that really pops the yellows. So a little bit of brilliance and warmth, and a little bit of color contrast in the yellows. And that does a big thing for me, I think, here. So there's the before and the after. It really brightens those yellows for me. And no split color warmth. And the last thing I did down here in color balance, in the midtones, I did a little bit towards the cyan and a little bit towards the blue on the midtones. And then in the highlights, I did a very slight towards magenta away from the green, and that was primarily for these windows here. Those blinds were starting to get a little bit of a green tint, and I wanted them to get back kind of to that kind of yellowish look that they had. So there's before and after, and that was really it. I mean, that's full workflow using 4 tools only on the Pro tab. As you can see, the other 3 tabs are not highlighted, which means I have not used any of the tools there. So there's the before and the after, and this sliding window. You can see how much that yellow in the car really pops, and I just thought it went really well with the restaurant sign. And then rearranging the light, especially like doing dodge and burn here on the steaks and Mexican food component, really brought that white out. And that was it. Simple, straightforward, very easy. And if you're not using the Pro Tools, I've done videos, I think, about all of these, maybe not photo filter, but I've definitely done videos on the other ones. Dive in. Experiment, use them on photos. Even if you don't like what you come up with, just experiment and try to get accustomed to them, because they have a lot of power, a lot of flexibility, and those 2 things put together give you a lot of control over your photos using these powerful tools on the Pro tab. So that was it. Pretty simple and straightforward, and hopefully useful video. One more time, there's the before and the after. Now I do see a dust spot up here I need to go remove. I'm going to go take care of that. And other than that, I just wanted to share this workflow. I thought it was kind of fun because I'm always starting with the light tool or AI Enhance, and I found it really interesting that I did all this stuff on the Pro tab and never had the need to go back and do those things. And if you think about it, AI Enhance does a lot of contrast and light adjustments. What did I do? Contrast and light adjustments. Also, because AI Enhance impacts contrast and light, it makes colors pop. What did I do here? I popped colors. So you can see that I'm substituting more advanced tools for some of that basic AI stuff like AI Enhance on the Essentials tool or Essentials tab. And I love AI Enhance. I use it all the time, but it's fun to do things a different way. Helps me get better at the overall usage of Luminar, and helps me get a better understanding of how these advanced tools work to accomplish similar things that I do with other things on other tabs. Lots of powerful tools in Luminar. It's a lot of fun. I encourage you to experiment. And there you go, one last time. There it is. Before and after. I kind of like it. I'm excited about this photo. I love pops of color. I love old stuff. It kind of went together for me. So that's it for this one, my friends. Short, sweet, and hope you're doing well out there. So take care of yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you soon, my friends. Have a great day. See you later, and adios.